Hello student, I am SR Sirsat. Last time already considered the first point, introduction to lasers, and the second one, basic principle of laser. Under this topic we considered stimulated absorption. Today we are going to discuss spontaneous emission, stimulated emission, and the next point, characteristic of the laser. Okay, I am going to start this spontaneous emission. The first point, what is meant by the spontaneous emission? When we consider the laser medium, and that laser medium contains the identical atoms, and suppose within that laser medium two energy levels are there. The first energy level E1 and second energy level is E2. This energy level we call it as a ground state, and this energy level we call it as a excited state. Excited state. This is actually the situation. And when suppose the atom is already present into the excited state, suppose this is the atom, it is present in excited state. It means that that atom is excited atom. Again, we know that when the atom is in excited state, that atom remains in excited state for a certain amount of time, and that certain amount of time we call it as a lifetime. And lifetime of such excited atom is 10 raised to minus 8 second. 10 raised to minus 8 second. It means that atom remains in excited state for a time, and that time is very short, and that short time is 10 raised to minus 8 second. After this time 10 raised to minus 8 second, what will happen? This electron that returns back from excited state to the ground state, it is returned back excited state to the ground state. And when that atom returns back to the excited state to the ground state, at that time what will happen? These are actually the two energy levels. This is higher energy level and this is lower energy level. And when it is returns from excited state to the ground state, it emits a photon. And the energy of that photon must be equal to, that is h mu, and this energy must be equal to E2 minus E1 is equal to h mu. It means that after 10 raised to minus 8 second, electron return back to the ground state, and when it return back to the ground state, at that time excess amount of energy is released in the form of the photon, and that energy must be equal to h mu, and this energy must be equal to difference of these two energy. This is actually the situation. It means that such type of electron transition, that we call it as a spontaneous transition. What is meant by the spontaneous transition? When electron jumps from higher energy level to lower energy level by itself without any triggering, such type of transition we call it as a spontaneous transition or spontaneous emission, because it emits the photon. When we consider this situation, this is a spontaneous emission. How will you write this process in the form of the equation? Suppose here is suppose say A star, that can be written as here is A plus H mu. This A star means the atom is in excited state, but when it return back to the ground state, at that time this A represent the atom is in ground state. And what is this H mu? This H mu means this is actually the photon that is released. Mean this is such type of actually the emission, we call it as a spontaneous emission. It means that in spontaneous emission, without applying any trigger, without applying any force, atom come back to its ground state after 10 raised to minus 8 seconds. And in such type of actually the transition or emission, we call it as a spontaneous emission. After considering all these things, here is the number of excited atoms, suppose here. The next point you remember that what is mean by the rate of spontaneous emission. For rate of spontaneous emission, here is suppose the number of electrons present in the ground state, we call it as a N1, and the number of electrons present into the excited state, suppose say N2. That is the rate of spontaneous emission. Rate of spontaneous emission that must be equal to minus dN2 by dt. Its meaning is that negative sign indicate that when this spontaneous emission takes place, at that time the number of electrons present in excited state decreases, and that's why we consider minus dN2 by dt, and that may be written as it is N2 upon that is 2 spontaneous emission. We may be write in this manner, that is you may be PS or we may be call it as a spontaneous. Here is a spontaneous, means this is the number of electrons and this is actually the lifetime that is in excited state. Suppose call this equation first. Again you remember that on what factor this spontaneous emission is depend. It depends upon the number of electrons present into the excited state. It means that rate of spontaneous emission is directly proportional to the number of atoms present into the excited state. If the number of atoms present in excited state is more, then the rate of spontaneous emission is more. Means more electrons are emitted per second. More electrons are jumped from higher level to lower level. It means that more photons are emitted per second. That is actually the rate of spontaneous. And that's why rate of spontaneous emission that must be equal to, here is the, this is actually the N2, and constant, that is actually the, we call it as A21. This is a proportionality constant, call this equation second. And this proportionality constant, we call it as Einstein's spontaneous emission coefficient, Einstein's coefficient of spontaneous emission. Einstein's coefficient of spontaneous emission. When we compare these two equations, that is N2 divided by tau Sp, that must be equal to A21 multiplied by N2. Then from this equation we can write, here is the A21 is equal to, what is the value of A21? A21, here is N2, here is N2, means 1 upon tau Sp. This is actually the lifetime. If the lifetime is more, then rate of spontaneous emission is less. But if the lifetime is less, the rate of spontaneous, means this coefficient is more. This is actually the situation. Means this is actually the coefficient, Einstein's coefficient of, that is actually spontaneous emission. From this equation we consider this. But you remember that according to quantum mechanics, transition of the electron takes place only from higher energy state to lower energy state. Higher energy state to lower energy state. It means that transition of the electron cannot take place, spontaneous emission cannot take place from E1 to E2 itself. Means without triggering, it is impossible to move the electron from ground state to the excited state, or to move the atom from ground state to the excited, means such type of transition cannot take place. Spontaneous transition cannot take place from lower energy level to higher energy level, and that's why it is A12, this must be equal to 0. Means this is the Einstein's coefficient of spontaneous emission from energy level E1 to E2. Means this is the point related to the spontaneous emission. This is situation. Spontaneous means by itself, without any triggering, atom jumps from higher energy level to lower energy level. And this is actually the rate of spontaneous emission. It depends upon how many atoms are present into the excited state. What about the important points related to the spontaneous emission? Spontaneous emission point of view, the first point, it is natural process. It cannot be controlled outside. Natural process. After 10 raised to minus 8 second, electron return banks from excited state to the ground state. That is a natural process. This is the first point related to the spontaneous emission. But you remember that number of photons emitted in spontaneous emission, that is randomly. It means that one photon is emitted in this direction, another photon is emitted in this direction, another photon is emitted in this direction. Means the direction of the photon emitted in spontaneous emission, that is not fixed, that is different. It means that in spontaneous emission, photons are emitted in all direction. Photons are emitted in all direction. Again you remember that, and that's why there is no phase relation between the number of photons emitted in this process. And that's why the light emitted by such type of spontaneous emission, that is incoherent, not a coherent light. Not a coherent. Where actually these spontaneous emissions are observed? In case of tube light, in case of bulb, in case of the light from the sun. These are spontaneous emission. And again you remember that here is the different photons are emitted, no doubt. Again the different photons that having the different energies, and that light emitted in this situation is not a monochromatic. Not a monochromatic. Means this is all about, that is actually the spontaneous emission. Again you remember that the intensity of light, in case of total intensity of light in spontaneous emission, that intensity, total intensity must be equal to n multiplied by total intensity. N multiplied by it is the I. This is I is the intensity due to the single photon, and N represent the number of photons, and this is actually the total intensity by the spontaneous emission. The next and the important point related to the laser action, there is a stimulated emission. What is meant by the stimulated emission? What is meant by the stimulated emission? Very important point for laser action point of view. In stimulated emission, again we consider, suppose this is actually the energy level E2, and suppose this is the energy level E1. These two energy levels are considered, and suppose within this energy level already atoms are present. Number of atoms are present. Number of atoms are present. Suppose number of atoms are present here in excited state, and we know that this is excited state, this is a ground state, and the energy difference of these two states we call it as a E2 minus E1. These are actually the excited atoms. Suppose this is a laser medium, this is a laser medium, and within that laser medium these are excited atoms are present. These all are excited atom. This is a laser medium. Laser medium. And for simplicity point of view, here is the two energy levels are shown. But suppose all these are excited atom. And what will happen? In spontaneous emission, we have already considered after 10 raised to minus 8 seconds, these electrons return back to the ground state. And at that time, it emits the photon. And photon emitted, its energy must be equal to E2 minus E1 is equal to h mu. But here, suppose incident photon, this is an incident photon, and there is the interaction of this incident photon and this excited atom takes place directly. This incident photon strikes to this atom directly, excited atom directly. Means this is actually the situation. This is the incident photon, and that give the trigger or give the force to the excited atom. At that time, what will happen? Before completion of 10 raised to minus 8 seconds, this electron, this excited atom come back to the ground state. And when it comes back to the ground state, at that time, it emits a photon. Its energy is h mu. And that energy must be equal to difference of these two. What will happen? When such photon is incident, that is on the excited atom, between the excited atom and that is a photon, elastic collision takes place. It means that due to this elastic collision, there is no loss of energy, but due to this actually the collision, due to that is actually the trigger, this excited atom come back to the ground state. And when it comes back to the ground state, at that time it emits a photon, and that energy of the photon must be equal to h mu. But you remember that incident photon energy must be equal to difference of this energy. Means the incident photon energy must be equal to h mu, and this energy, h mu energy must be equal to E2 minus E1. It means that one photon is incident. When it gives the trigger to the one excited atom, at that time we get the two photons. We get the two photons. We get two photons. It means that this is a one photon and this is another photon. Due to this, again, here is the two photons. Two photons. These two photons, they are moving the same direction. Again, these two photons have again the same frequency. And these two photons again have the same wavelength. Next, these two photons, means these two photons, again stimulate the next two atoms. Again give the trigger to the next two atom. Means these two photons, again these two atoms come back to the ground state. Again they emit a photon. This photon and this emits a photon. Means total photons are 4. Again all these photons, when this excited atom come back to the ground state, at that time difference of this energy, that photon is emitted. Again difference of this energy, photon, total photons are 4. Means 2 photon, again here is a 4 photon. All these 4 photons are moving in the same direction, all having the same frequency, same wavelength. Again these 4 photons again stimulates or again give the trigger to 4 excited atoms. Suppose here is a 4 excited atom. These 4 excited atom. What will happen? Again these 4 excited atom come back to the ground state, and what will happen? This is the first, second, third, fourth, and 1 second, third and fourth. Total how many photons are emitted? 8. Means photons are emitted in this manner. Means here is before completion of the 10 raised to minus 8 second, photons are emitted. Means such type of emission we call it as a stimulated emission. Means by using some trigger. And for trigger point of view, incident photon is used. When one incident photon interacts with excited atom, that excited atom return back to the ground state, it emits a one photon. Means two photons are emitted. These two photons again trigger to the next two excited atom, again the 4 photons are emitted. Again these 4 photons are triggered, again the next 4 excited atom, again the 4 photons are emitted, and these 4 total 8 photons. In this way, number of photons are emitted goes on increasing, but all photons, they are traveling in the same direction. And when the process in which the photons are emitted by applying some external trigger, that we call it as a stimulated emission. And what is the full form of the laser? It is the full form of the laser. Last time already considered that. Light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Radiation. This is a full form. Here is a light. Light is emitted in the form of the photon. Amplification means light intensity increases. Light intensity increases means number of photons are increases by using the stimulated emission. And this technique is very important one in laser action. Means in laser point of view, the amplification of the light takes place by using the technique, and that technique we call it as a stimulated emission. Means by applying some trigger, excited atom return back to the ground state. It means that it cannot complete the span 10 raised to minus 6 second. Before that it comes back. It means that what is the important point here? Stimulated emission can be controlled outside. By using this incident photon stimulated emission, that is an artificial process. Spontaneous emission is a natural process. It cannot be controlled outside, but it is an artificial process and it can be controlled by the outside. In addition to this, all photons, they are in the same direction. They all are having the same frequency, same wavelength, and they are all are in same phase. And such type of light is emitted by this technique, that is a stimulated emission. Again, you remember that. How will you write this stimulation process in terms of, that is the equation. Here is, suppose this is actually the atom in excited state plus this is atom in excited state, and this is incident photon. What is the effect? This is A plus 2h mu. Means when this, due to this photon, this excited atom come back to its ground state. This is the ground state. But what is the effect? 2 photons are generated. These are actually 2 photons. This is actually the situation. Again, the next point. Number of photons generated or emitted in stimulated emission, on what factor they depends? They depends upon the mainly 2 factors. The first factor, number of atoms present in excited state. This is the first factor, number of atoms. And the number of atoms present in excited state, we call it as N2, and number of atoms in ground state, we call it as N1. In addition to this is actually the photon, means incident light. What about the intensity of that incident light? Depending upon the intensity of the light, number of photons, that is actually the per volume, that depends. And the number of photons per volume in incident light that we call it as a rho v. Means how many photons are emitted, that depends upon the two factor. How many photons are present per volume in incident light, and how many number of atoms, excited atoms are present in E2 state, and therefore the rate of, here is the stimulated emission, we call it as a stimulated emission, that we call it as a rate of stimulated emission, that can be we can be write in this manner in short, that is directly proportional to intensity of incident light and the number of atoms present in excited state. That must be equal to, here is rho v multiplied by n2. What about the proportionality constant? Proportionality constant, we call it as a B21. What is B21? Einstein's coefficient of stimulated emission. Einstein's coefficient of stimulated emission. What about the basic points related to this? Stimulated emission is controlled by outside. It is artificial process. Number of photons emitted in stimulated emission, all they are traveling in the same direction. They having the same frequency, same wavelength, same plane of polarization, all things are same. In addition to this, in case of this stimulated emission, multiplication of photons takes place. Number of photons, 1 from 1 2 photon, from 2 4 photon, from 4 to 8, 8 to 16, this is multiplication of photon takes place. The next point here is, we call it as the light amplification. Light amplification means all photons, they are all are in phase, and when all photons they are all in phase, at that time the constructive interference takes place, and we get, that is actually the constructive interference means the intensity of light must be large. Means this is all about the stimulated emission. After considering this stimulated emission, the next point here is the characteristics of laser. Before studying the characteristics of the laser, last time I told, laser light is totally different from the conventional light source. Laser light is totally different from the conventional light source. We all are familiar with conventional light source, light from the tube light, light from the sun, light from the candle, light from the bulb, all these are. Laser light has some extraordinary properties. And you remember that extraordinary property is not present into the ordinary light. And that's why laser light that having the 4 unique characteristics. 4 unique characteristics. What are the characteristics of the laser? The first characteristic, coherence. Coherence. Second one, directionality. Third one, monochromaticity, and fourth one, that is the intensity. These are actually the important characteristics of the laser. Okay, I am going to explain the first one, the coherence. What is meant by the coherence? You remember that transition of the electron takes place from upper level to lower level, as well as lower level to upper level, by using the different techniques. But you remember that when we consider the ordinary light, in case of ordinary light, electron transition takes place naturally from upper level to lower level. Means ordinary light point of view, suppose this is E2 and suppose this is level is E1, and there is a naturally takes place. E1 to E2. And at random time is not fixed. At any time, photon is emitted. Means, and all their photons are emitted due to the transition of the atom from excited state to ground state. That is actually the naturally. And due to this, what will happen? The number of photons are emitted in case of ordinary light. They all have the different energy, different frequency, and you remember that they have the different colors, and they all are out of phase for ordinary light point of view. Different energy, different frequency, different colors, different phase, means out of phase. And that's why when we consider the ordinary light point of view, means for ordinary source, light travels in all direction. That contains different colors. And this actually the situation. Out of phase, we all are familiar with. Means out of phase means suppose this is the first wave. This is the first wave. And suppose this is a second wave. This is a second. At that time we can say that is out of phase. Means the crest of the first and crest of the second, they are out of phase. They are not in phase. This is actually the situation. And such type of situations occur for ordinary light. Means for ordinary point of view, transition naturally at random time, all photons emitted different frequency, different wavelength, different energy, and they all are out of phase. But in case of laser, the transition of the electron takes place from excited state to the ground state artificially. First point. And such type of action can be controlled externally. After that, not only artificially but at specific time, that photons are emitted. And all photons are emitted. Here is they all are in the same direction. They all are in the same direction. All photons are emitted in the same direction. And second thing, they all are in phase. They all are in phase. In phase means when we consider this is the first, when we consider this is the second, when we consider this is the third, means the crest of the all, they coincide with each other. This is the meaning. The coherence meaning is that phase difference between the wave that remains constant. And here is actually the number of photons are emitted, same frequency, same energy, same wavelength, and in phase. And that's why the light produced by, that is the laser, that is a coherence. This is the difference between the ordinary light and that is actually the. And for production of such coherence light, a Bessel technique is used. And that Bessel technique we have already studied, that is the stimulated emission. And when we consider all these points, coherent point of view, light generated by laser, that's why it is highly coherent. And light generated by ordinary, that is incoherent. And coherent meaning means all the photons emitted, they all are in phase. And what is the meaning of in phase? The crest of the all that waves, that is coincide with each other. This is actually the first point, about coherence point of view. Second one, directionality. Directionality means when we consider the ordinary light, when we consider, suppose that is actually the tube light or bulb, it emits the photons in all direction. It emits a photon in all direction. But in case of laser, it is the all photons are emitted, they are in the same direction. They all are in the same direction. And as well as in phase, photons are emitted in different direction, but not at time. That is again the randomly. But in case of laser, all photons are emitted in the same direction. Again, they are in phase, same energy, and that's why the light source emits by actually the laser, that is directional. Means directional. In a particular direction laser light is emitted. Laser light cannot be spread over a long region. That is actually the in a particular direction, and that's why the intensity of that laser light is very large as compared to that is actually the ordinary light. After considering this width of the laser beam from the source, when we consider, suppose there is a laser source and suppose there is a ordinary source. From the ordinary, if suppose the ordinary light is emitted and suppose it traveled, suppose say distance 2 kilometer, at that time what will happen? The spreading of the light is from that source must be the diameter of that spreading, that must be the 2 kilometer. That must be the 2 kilometer. But in case of laser, when the laser light travels 2 kilometer, at that time what about its spreading? Spreading must be only 2 centimeter. Must be only 2 centimeter. Diameter of the spreading only 2 centimeter. Means when the laser light travels up to a distance 2 kilometer, at that time laser light spreads only 2 centimeter. But when the ordinary light travels 2 kilometer, at that time laser light spreads 2 kilometer. Means here is 2 kilometer is the diameter, 2 centimeter is the diameter. Means that's why the divergence of that laser beam is very, very small. And helium neon laser point of view, that helium neon laser point of view, that divergence is 10 raised to minus 3 radian. This is actually the third point. That is actually the directionality. And that's why the laser light travels over a long distance. The next point, monochromatic. We all are familiar with monochromatic means single wavelength or single color. But when we consider the ordinary light, that contains the different colors or different wavelength from actually the ordinary light. But in case of laser, this is actually the single photon. Again, that is the 2 photon. Again, that is the 4 photons. Again, the 8 photons. 8 photons. All the photon, the wavelength of this photon, wavelength of these 2 photon, wavelength of this photon, wavelength of this 8 photon, that is the same. It means that due to this laser, the light produced, that is of single color. Single color means monochromatic. Only one wavelength is present within that actually the laser light. Means this is actually the laser point of view, means only one color is present. The next point, intensity. When we consider, suppose this is the first photon, second photon, third photon, fourth photon. In case of ordinary light, that is actually they are moving in different direction, they are out of phase, and when there is out of phase, at that time intensity goes on decreasing. As distance passes, the intensity of the ordinary light goes on decreasing. We all are familiar with this. But when in case of laser, when all the photons they are in phase, at that time all these waves are added constructively. And when these waves are added constructively, at that time amplitude of that wave increases. And amplitude of the wave increases means the intensity of that light increases. And that's why the laser light is highly intensive as compared to the ordinary light. As compared to the ordinary. This is all about the characteristics of the laser. Here is today we are considering the basic principle of laser under the spontaneous emission, stimulated emission, and the next point, characteristic. In the next lecture, we will see the Boltzmann's distribution law and what are actually the population inversion and different pumping technique. Okay, I am stop here.